What people call wokeness and what's actually driving it. Hello, I am Dr. KP Stoller, trying to figure out what wokeness actually means and where did it come from. People use the word wokeness to mean many different things. For some, it's about social justice. For others, it feels like censorship, coercion, or cultural decay. But most debates miss the real point. What we're seeing isn't a single ideology, a single group, or a single conspiracy. It's a convergence of forces and understanding that matters if we want to respond intelligently rather than emotionally. What gets labeled wokeness is not a coherent doctrine. It's better understood as an overlay of three systems. First, academic moral frameworks ideas that interpret society primarily through power, identity, and oppression. Second, institutional risk management corporations, HR departments, and legal teams trying to avoid lawsuits, reputational damage, and activist pressure. Third, cultural power shifts, changes in who sets norms, who gets moral authority, and who is allowed to dissent. None of these alone explain what's happening. Together they do. Modern wokeness stands on the shoulders of feminism, but not in the way critics often suggest. Earlier waves of feminism focused on legal equality, opportunity, access.
Later waves increasingly reframed society as a moral hierarchy of identity groups, where virtue is assigned by category rather than conduct.
Certain feminist frameworks became useful tools for institutions seeking moral legitimacy without structural reform. Language migrated from advocacy into bureaucracy. Institutions increasingly reward risk aversion, consensus signaling, emotional safety language, compliance over dissent.
These traits align with bureaucratic psychology.
Women rise in these systems not because they are women, but because the system selects for those traits.
Men who succeed there tend to adopt the same posture.
This is not a matriarchy. It's administrative moral authority. Corporations didn't adopt wokeness to undermine society. They adopted it to minimize risk. Corporations are not ideological movements. They are liability management machines. Moral signaling is cheap. Structural reform is expensive. So companies adopt DEI language, ESG metrics, public virtue campaigns.
Because it protects them from scrutiny while leaving power structures intact.
This is performative morality, not revolutionary intent. Organizations like the World Economic Forum are often overcredited. They don't direct corporations or engineer culture. What they do is convene elites, normalize shared language, signal what respectable alignment looks like. Their influence is soft, reputational, and indirect. Corporations comply because it aligns with regulators, institutional investors, and global capital norms. People experience wokeness as corrosive because it replaces truth-seeking with moral positioning, punishes dissent rather than debating it, elevates feelings over outcomes, turns institutions into moral enforcers instead of service providers. This erodes trust, not through revolution, but through quiet withdrawal, cynicism, and fragmentation. Historically, these phases appear when elite credentials proliferate. In other words, when everyone gets a participation trophy, the trophy stops meaning anything. Competition for status intensifies and moral signaling becomes currency. In such environments, ideology becomes a way to climb without building. Wokeness functions as a status language more than a belief system. That's why it spreads fastest in universities, media, NGOs, HR departments, tech firms, and why it weakens when incentives shift. This is not a deliberate plot to destroy society. It's something more mundane and more dangerous. Institutions replacing wisdom with moral signaling and stability with performative virtue. History suggests such systems overreach, lose credibility, and eventually collapse under their own weight. The question isn't whether this ends, it's what replaces it.